Yo, welcome to episode 6 of the Larry Ohh Show. Back in Providence. We're back. Co-host.
It's John Phelps in the building.
And I'm Larry Ohh. Like I said, welcome back. Thank you so much. I'm back from Namm. I was at Namm for a few days. It was like a quick in and out type of thing. It was jam-packed with, my schedule was jam-packed. The convention was just packed. I was there back in April, and it wasn't like this. And I heard from a lot of people that it wasn't like the normal Namm. And it's true.
What was different?
Just the people and the brands. There was way more people and there was way more brands. Because I think everybody was waiting for the norm to come back for Namm, right. Because I think COVID just messed everything up with it and their schedule. So January is their like schedule that they've been doing for 20 plus years, I guess.
I was stoked to see The Alchemist on that.
Right?
I was like, yo, he's one of my favorites of all time.
Bro.
So did you interview with Alchemist?
No, I didn't interview Alchemist. I interviewed Smino, his engineer.
Smino's sick.
LaRussell. And then Ali hopped on stage.
Yeah.
Randomly. Because it was like an empty seat. Monte Booker was supposed to be there. And I guess he was there the next day. I think he came through the next day. But Ali just like hopped in the chair and it was just like, I don't know, like 7 people on stage. And I was like, yo, I can't believe like I'm even on the stage right now. This is wild.
So nuts.
Yeah. That was cool to hear like the conversation between artist, producer, engineer relationships. It was just crazy to get that perspective.
Right.
And it's really cool to see how many producers have an engineer that they work with on a constant basis.
Yeah.
Or an artist that has their engineer that they work with on a constant basis. Because don't you feel like a lot of people either are like DIY or they kind of just jump around and they don't realize how important it is to have like that, to find that one person that they just click with that gets their sound?
Absolutely. I feel like all my favorite projects like through the years have always been collaborations, even if it's not like explicit, like, Method Man, Redman type style where it's like right there. But there's always like a thumbprint that music tends to leave. And, Alchemist has been a part of so many great projects, but like Alchemist and Currency is one of my favorite like collaborations.
That's a crazy duo.
And oh my God, yeah. But again, it's like you find people that click with you. And I think that's really important for like anybody in that or in our line of work is like, if you're an engineer, find a producer. If you're a producer, find an artist. If you're an artist, find an engineer and a producer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's what's going to help you hone in on your sound. You can develop your taste through time, but having other people to kind of like jump in the mix and be like, tweaking as things go and have their own taste develop with the sound is like so integral, I think.
Yeah. It's just the whole collaboration thing. Even producers finding other producers or engineers finding other engineers, I think is really cool too. There's people that just like work together, build off of each other, trade ideas.
Yeah.
Like it's, I don't know. It goes, just collaboration is key in almost in any aspect of life, really.
If you have 100 people working on a thing, it's going to be so much better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can figure it out on your own, but I think that collaboration really is the key with so much of stuff where like the great ideas come around so much quicker when there's a bunch of people approaching the objective together.
Before I forget, we're doing an FL Studio giveaway every single week. I almost forgot about it. I like to do it in the intro, but we forgot. So yeah, FL Studio Producer Edition giveaway every single week from now until, who knows, forever? We don't know. Shout out FL. The way that you can enter and win FL Studio Producer Edition is in the comments on YouTube. If you're not on YouTube and you're listening somewhere else, hop over to YouTube. When I mention the keyword somewhere in this podcast, drop it in the comments and automatically you'll be entered into the giveaway. And I just reply to the winner in the comments. I just go through and I randomize it. I pick a winner and I reply to the winner and then I have them DM me. Already we're like 3 winners in right now, I think, because we started at week 2. We're on episode 6. So we're still, gathering the comments from last episode.
Shouts out to our winners.
Yeah, shout out to the winners. They're already like DMing me and they're already in there with FL Studio Producer Edition, so they're loving it.
I saw one dude with the session up and I was like, damn, that's a good looking session.
Yeah,
like,
it was good.
Yo, good job. Got right to it. That's huge.
Awesome. I guess, talked about Namm a little bit. Namm was wild. It got to interview Infinite. I don't know if you're familiar with Infinite.
The name is familiar.
Yeah, he's
I don't know what's he done.
He's big on YouTube. He's got a lot of placements. He's does a lot of FL Studio tutorial stuff, so he really knows his stuff. Really knows his stuff. Really cool dude. He helped me out with a lot of events that were at the FL Studio booth. I ran into Steven from Cymatics over there. He helped me with a lot of events.
Shouts out Steve.
Booth. Yep, we did some merch giveaway, some FL Studio merch giveaway. Again, shout out to Josh and FL for that. So we did 2 days over there, an hour event each day. First day we did like a Q&A, just like a little makeshift panel type of thing. It was me, Infinite, Steven from Cymatics, Elgene from the Audio Nerds podcast, and Bolo. And then the next day we did a 5-minute beat battle. So it was like chaotic because we didn't have a microphone. So I had to like yell over the whole crowd, bro. It was crazy. So I had to yell. I'm like, yo, what? Like I had to like gather a whole crowd in. So I gathered a crowd in and we did the 5-minute beat battle cook-up. So they had an FL Studio open. They had a computer open there and like the newest version, everything in there, FL Cloud's in there. So it was like an easy thing. Nobody had to bring sounds or anything.
Right.
So they had 5 minutes to cook up. I think we had like 4 or 5 contestants, and that was cool. It was just like some throw and go type of thing, and the winners got more FL Studio merch, so that was cool. And then we had a bunch of guest judges. It was fire.
Love that.
Yeah, but yo, there was an episode, not last week's episode, but the week before, where we talked about, this is really interesting. So I screenshotted the comment on YouTube. This is really interesting to me, and I never knew this. But we were talking about layer and how we were talking about that hidden gem where you could play 2 synths at the same exact time using the layer plugin. And then somebody commented and said, layer was the predecessor of patcher, really. It's been around for so long it has become obsolete and they kind of hide it more. Layer channel was the mother, the one that was triggered, and it would pass on the information to the children channels. That's, I guess, where the whole children thing, set children thing came from. And then patcher, he says, patcher is just the evolution of it, with effects added and near infinite instruments and connections. So I never knew that. So I guess before patcher even really existed. So patcher, I want to know, like, when, if somebody knows, drop it in the comments too, but like, I want to know when patcher was started. Because that, I mean, still, I'll rant and rave all day, every day about it. People are probably sick of hearing me talk about Patcher, but you don't even know.
It's a Patcher podcast.
I mean, even if you know about Patcher, you don't know. You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. Yeah, so I never knew that. That was really, like, really interesting to me. And then there was another one. So this is where I got the video. I already posted this video, but we were talking about the time signature.
Oh,
thing.
yeah. I saw that. I tried that shit out right away. I was like,
I mean, this is why I love this community.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to wait until we had another pod to talk about it, but I just couldn't help myself. So I had to like actually do it, make a video. So if you don't know, like, it was episode 4, right? We talked about time signature changes, and you asked a really good question, is like, how can we automate time signatures? Because a lot of us know that you can go into the back end, change the time signature of FL Studio so everything kind of just locks into that grid.
Yep.
But what we didn't know was that you could automate, as technically not automation, but like you could set the grid in the playlist to change time signatures. So that was really crazy. And now we know, because of this comment, this is the comment that really just put me on. It says, all you have to do to add a different time signature in the playlist is go to the drop-down menu, scroll to time markers, add one, set the time signature, go to a different part of the playlist, and select a different time signature for that marker.
Right.
You could do this multiple times. The metronome will change with the time signature.
Right. And I got right on that, too. I had FL open when I saw that, and I tried that out and made a beat in 5/4.
Did you?
Yeah, I was just like, the
whole beat was 5/4, or you switched up?
I went from 4/4 to 5/4.
4/4 to 5/4.
Yeah, and I was like, this is cool. This is sick. And I just like wanted to try doing something slightly different, and I think like it was sick. I don't know. It was mad fun.
And it just instantly changes. So like when you go into that and it hits that marker, it's gonna automatically just change. So then you went from 4/4 to 5/4, and then back to 4/4.
Yeah, and then I think like it gives you the same count in when you like 1, 2, 3, 4 when you like
it changes the count in for recording too, right?
Yeah.
So it'll give you a 5/4 count in.
It gave me a 4. It gave me a 4/4
Really?
count in. Yeah. But if you put the click on in the 5/4 segment, it's still like 5/4. Yeah, it's just the count in.
Oh, it's just the count in?
Count in. Yeah.
Damn, am I
It's just a
stupid that I
4
missed you say that 15 times?
Yeah. You might have just watch it back. Just grayscale that part, like the counter of
All right, so it's just the count in. So that's not a big deal.
No.
That's not a big deal.
No, not at all. It's not
right.
like a glitch.
Yeah, that's not
It
bad
was
at
just
all.
like, quick little thing.
One little thing, yeah. So I guess I don't know. What are you working on right now? You working? I just saw the email come through last night. We got a song together that's gonna drop.
We got a little song together.
Yeah.
The song is called Up Now.
Yeah.
And it's not up now, but it's coming. It's probably up now when this episode's out. Who knows? But no, it's like it's cool. It's got some live bass in there. I remember.
It's been a while. We were just talking about this, but it's been such a long time. I can't remember what the beat is.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the beat was named. I just got the email last night, like, oh,
All right.
collab invite on the Distro Kid.
Yep.
But yo, that made me think of like how long it takes for some songs to come out.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that a lot of producers watching and listening right now think about all the time, and like they struggle to maybe finish something, or they beat themselves up at the simple fact that maybe it's taken them like a week to finish a beat, but maybe you just got to sit on it for a year, 2 years sometimes.
Yeah.
And just keep working on other stuff.
And for me, it was like and maybe some like people that are like artists and stuff will understand. It's like I knew I was going to be releasing the kind of music that I'm releasing now. And I just knew I got to hold this one because I kind of work in cycles with, everything that I make is like specific to me as an artist, but I work in kind of different genres, so to speak. And I was just like, I know that I'm going to get to this song, and I know I had intentions to like rebrand myself and re-put like a bunch of my stuff out. And I was like, I'm going to keep that one in the chamber because when I come to it, it's going to be nice. It's going to be like perfect. So it's not like we were like tweaking it at all, but a year later I was listening to the mix down and I was like, yeah, this is ready to go.
Yeah.
So I'd say like,
but at that time you might have felt like it wasn't ready. Or maybe you just
probably
like in a process of making so many songs that
it went like under the radar for a minute. I suspect that to be the case, and I think that sometimes you think that a song's not ready, but then you listen to it, like you let it simmer. Like a year later, you might listen to it and just be like, oh, this is perfect the way that it is. And the mix sounds good, the master sounds good. The lyrics and stuff are fire. Like it just has the right vibe, and it just sat in the hard drive for a minute. So It was like, boom. But yeah, I mean, ain't got to overthink it too much. I guess like that's the way, but if you have a plan for releasing it, I think is the big thing.
Yeah.
It's like having a plan to release the music is big. I'm on this. So the other night I sat down and just like scheduled my releases out for this year. And like every 6 weeks, I'm going to be releasing some stuff.
There you go.
So like every 6 weeks is going to be a new single, and then drop to the next one and the next one and the next one. So that way the guesswork is kind of taken out of like what the schedule is. I might sub out some songs for other ones because I made this other shit last night that's just fucking crazy. And I'm like, this is also nuts. I might drop that next. You know what I'm saying? But the timeline is there. So all right. Different song, same formula. Just drop it every 6 weeks, work it on socials every 6 weeks, let people find out about it. And then the next song is just going to not only promote itself when you are promoting it, but it's going to promote the other songs that you've done.
Yeah.
Like, just a month and a half earlier.
Yeah, because if somebody discovers that, or that
they're going to go back.
A post on that maybe goes viral and they love it, they're going to go back and listen to your other stuff.
Yeah. And just making sure that the links and stuff are on point, like having your landing pages set up so that way when people find your music, it's easy enough for them to use the sound. If you're on TikTok, go to your profile, click one link, and be brought right to your music.
Bringing up TikTok, did you hear about the whole thing with UMG taking every one of their artists' music off TikTok?
No.
It just happened.
Oh shit.
I don't even know the whole logistics behind it, but it's some kind of something went wrong.
UMG? That's a record label or Universal
Universal
Music Group?
Yeah, Universal,
Damn,
bro.
that's
Every single artist. So you're talking
they
like
did the
Taylor.
Thanos snap.
So you're talking Taylor Swift.
Yo,
All of her music is off,
that's wild.
gone off of TikTok.
So that means people that are going to be using those sounds are going to be like just making their own versions probably
Bro.
for TikTok.
Or they're either making their own versions cover wise, or like I think they have like a really good pull down system where they're gonna, if somebody does try to put that kind of music up there, it's gonna get taken off.
Yeah.
It's gonna get taken off. So I
Damn.
mean, Universal's like the biggest in the world. There's like 3 that run the whole world, the whole music industry.
Right.
You know,
I wonder
And
what
Universal's one of
that
them.
is. I wonder if there's going to be some sort of like push where they're like, all right, you know, like maybe, well, no, Instagram already has like the sound bank. Did they just took them off TikTok?
yeah, it's just TikTok.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's just TikTok, and I got to dive into it a little bit more, but I've just been seeing the headlines yesterday, big time.
Yeah.
That they pulled all of UMG's artists off, every single one of them.
That's wild.
It's you go to their pages now, and it's the music tab.
Mhm.
You know how the music tab on TikTok, it's empty on everybody's.
Damn.
Anybody that's under UMG, and that's probably half the industry,
That's wild.
because you got to think every genre possible is under that. Every single genre is under there.
What sucks about being an artist on one of those sorts of like labels or like under one of those management groups or
Mhm.
music groups is like you're at the whim of these conglomerates that are just going to be like, well, no, we're getting into it with this nitty gritty paperwork stuff. They did something we don't like. We're taking all your stuff off. And like, even if you're an artist that's a proponent of TikTok, now it's harder for people to find your music
Yeah.
through that app. You know, people feel however they feel about like the licensing on TikTok and stuff like that. But, you know, if you're an independent artist, you don't have to worry about it as much. But I guess it just goes to show you, like, if you're an independent artist, the power is really in your hands to
Yeah.
do as much or as little as you want
Mhm.
to get what you want.
Bro, I think this is going to be a huge opportunity for independent artists, because now, like, with half the music missing, probably a good half, I would say maybe more than half. Half is like, I'm shooting low.
Yeah, right.
Because of how big that label is and how widespread the artists are that are under that label and under subdivisions of that label, whatever.
Mhm.
Everybody's on it. So independent artists right now have a huge opportunity, because people are going to be looking for music to use in their videos.
Mhm.
Now, even more independent artists are going to be going viral on there.
Right.
So it's going to be really interesting to see, unless they come to a deal with TikTok and settle it and get their music back on there. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens with that. But with that being said, I want to get into, we had that little skit, not skit, but like that little part where we did hidden gem stuff in the last few episodes, or maybe 2 episodes ago. I want to talk about a couple different hidden gems that I didn't get to hit on then. One of them being is chords with one key.
Mhm.
Have you ever messed with that
Yeah.
in that setting?
Oh,
Where
yeah.
you go to, so there's a couple of different ways that you can do it. We talked about one, right? We talked about I think we talked about the Yoda saw with that feature, right? But there's another one. So inside Patcher, you go to Yoda saw. We know that we talked about that one, but the one that I like to use more than anything is because you can use it on any sample, any patch, any plugin, is up in the top when you right click. So we can just get into it right here. Let me go into it right now. I'm forgetting that I have the laptop.
You're trying to do it by muscle
Yeah,
memory.
I'm trying to do it by muscle memory. So I'm so used to not having this. So if we go to that, the little piano tab up top, and you right click on it, you can come down here. You could first off choose a root note. So you could choose whatever root note you want. Let's just do like C sharp, right? Make sure that it's turned on too, because if you uncheck it, it won't work. So it has to be highlighted orange. Then you can come down and you can choose major chord map or minor natural chord map. And as far as I can see and remember, those are the only 2 ones that really work. So you can't get into like crazy different kinds of scales, but you can do a basic major chord map and a minor natural chord map. So if you choose minor natural chord map, and then it gives you octaves, I just leave that on default. So we got C sharp, minor natural chord map. Now if you go and you load up any kind of plugin, I like just to open up FL Keys probably. So now, whenever you hit a key on the keyboard, I'm just hitting the letter Y on here. We got an instant chord.
Yeah.
I mean, how much easier can you make it? So that's just like a fire little thing that, I don't know, it's helped me so much because I don't know how to play keys like that. You know how to play keys. I can't play keys like that. I mean, I can kind of make sense. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So this feature helped me out a ton, and I love it more than the whole Patcher and Yoda Saw thing because you could just put it on any single thing that you want.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I really love about that is the fact that you can you actually see when you record it, you could see the MIDI notes coming in the actual chord rather than, I think in Yoda Saw, it's just like one note that comes in and you have to do a whole bunch of other stuff to enable to see
I got you.
the actual chords
Like
that
a
you're being
view
played.
thing.
So this way, people might call it cheating. People might say, go learn how to play piano, go learn music theory.
Okay, dude.
I would say that is helping me learn music theory.
Yeah.
That's helping me learn how to play piano because it's showing me how to play a chord.
Right.
I can reverse engineer it if I want to take the time. Kids nowadays, you could either take the time and be really super interested in it, or you're just worried about how fast can I get music out, right? So you got one or two different kinds of producers out there.
Right.
I like to learn from that. That's helped me so much. Learn how to form a certain triad chord rather than going and reading a book on music theory. I'm not doing
Right.
that.
There's more than one way to learn something too.
Yeah.
Like you ain't gotta go book a piano teacher to learn piano. I mean, that's like you could say the same thing about people who learn stuff on YouTube. It's like, no, like use that trick to look at what's going on if you're interested. Again, you know what I'm saying? And then take that to, you gain literacy from using stuff like that. You're like, oh, this is a chord and there's 3 notes in it. And then you, like, if you're interested, you look it up and you're like, oh, there's chords that have 6 notes in them. And like, you know, like it's limitless. And the music theory stuff is like only helping you understand like what's happening. Music theory doesn't make you a better producer at all or a better composer at all. It doesn't. I mean, what it helps you do is identify kind of like maybe where to go next and why, you know, certain things and dynamics work. But come on, bro.
Yeah.
Like people were making great music before they understood what was going on. You know what I'm
Exactly. They
saying?
were
Like,
just doing it. You think somebody just, before music was invented, somebody created music theory before music was ever invented, and then say, hey, I got this new thing called
they
music
reverse
theory.
engineered music theory from music.
Exactly.
Make the music.
Exactly. People made music first, and then they said, oh,
Right.
here's why this works.
Yeah.
If you want to get super nerdy and into it and scientific about it, here's why all this this stuff works. Yeah.
Yeah, nerd.
I mean, nerd is a term now that I feel like is just like, I don't know. I feel like I'm a nerd. I feel like I'm an
for
FL
sure.
Studio nerd. I feel like everybody's like nerdy about something. Nerd used to mean something so bad back in the day, but I feel like it's more like, I don't know. I like the term nerd now. I like being called an FL Studio nerd. It means that I know something.
You nerding out on some shit.
Yeah, I'm
You know
nerding
what I'm
out.
saying? I'm geeking out
Yeah,
on this.
for real.
For real.
But like,
Absolutely.
like you said, I think music theory is just one of those things where I think it can really help you in certain situations, but it all depends on what kind of situations you're trying to get yourself into.
For sure.
You know, so if you're trying to just make beats,
Yeah.
have fun with it, put out music constantly, do you need music theory? I don't think so. If you want to be a session musician, if you want to get into studios and be like a guitar player that runs into a studio and just gets paid to play guitar on people's records, I think you might want to know music theory for that.
Yeah,
because then
they
you like
tell you-
somebody comes in, here's the sheet music, you know, or hey, we're in the key of blah blah blah. We're doing this, we're doing that. You need to know this. All right, what's the tempo? What's the BPM? What's the key? What's the scale? All right, I'm in there. I know. And then they can instantly just rock with that because they know music theory. So I think it really depends on what kind of situation you're trying to get yourself into.
Right. And an exposure to both. Like I'd say that it goes both ways in that you don't need to know music theory. It's definitely good to pick it up. So anytime that you get around somebody who has that kind of knowledge, like definitely pick it up and you know, try to pick their brain about what they're doing and what they know. And then the same thing goes for if you're like a professionally trained musician, being able to play by ear, feel is a big one. Because even when you look at like that sheet music stuff, it's like you see that everything down to the feeling of how it's played is noted on there. So sometimes you get into a session with somebody who's classically trained, for instance, and you're like trying to like I don't use professional terminology like a music teacher would when I describe like what I need. I'm more of like a feel-based like artist and things like that. So sometimes with classically trained musicians, it'd be like, all right, play with that like that vibe. And they're like, huh?
Yeah, they don't know. Yeah.
They don't know. So I've learned to pick up some terminology to help communicate with them better. And by the same token, if you're learning music theory, just take it into consideration that.
How did you learn that terminology? That's a big thing too. Like, what was your way of learning that terminology to maybe communicate better with other musicians?
Just reading, bro.
Reading?
Like just reading.
Are you a reader? Like
I read a decent amount. Yeah. I watch videos a lot. Like I'll watch a lot of different videos. I don't know. I've grown up around different musicians. I had a really good mentor, this woman Kim, who was a classically trained pianist, but she was also like a crazy artist as well. But her background was in like, you know, like conventional education in that sense. And so she kind of knew like certain modes and things. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. But I just would be around it and pick it up. And, you know, just being open to information. You know, you're not going to create in a vacuum. You're not going to create anything of substance in a vacuum. Right. Like we said, it's all about collaboration. And if you are just so tuned into what you're doing and you're like not listening to anything else, you're going to, the product's going to suffer, so to speak.
Fact.
You know,
I think it's keyword time.
Yeah, I think so.
Keyword time.
It's about that.
Today's going to be key phrase time. So key phrase. The phrase for today's FL Studio giveaway is "You win me." So in the comments, type in "You win me," and you're automatically entered into the contest to win a copy of FL Studio Producer Edition. If you missed it, we're doing this every single week. Shout out FL Studio and Image Line for doing this and supplying a copy for the community every single week of the podcast. The podcast drops every single Tuesday on YouTube and every single podcast platform there is, pretty much. I think we're on every platform. I've tried to get it out there, and I'm using some website that pretty much like gets it out on almost all of them. So I think we're on almost all of them. If we're not on the platform that you listen to the most, let us know too, so I'll try to get us on there.
Yeah.
So you sample a decent amount, right?
Yeah, I love sampling.
When you're sampling and say you bring in a melodic sample and it has this chord progression in the background, are you, like, how long does it take, or how are you detecting what key that's in and how to play maybe another chord progression or a melody on top of it?
Like playing over a sample?
Yeah.
Or are you layering samples?
Like playing over the sample. So like you want to know what key or what scale it's in, or you want to know the chord progressions in the background of that sample. Are you just going by ear?
I'll usually go by ear. Like if I'll find the note that it's closest to, like I'll hit it on the one and see like where it's at.
Try to find the root note maybe.
And then I'll use that fine tune on the whatever plugin I'm using.
Yeah.
And like if it's a little out, I'll just tune it relative to the sample. So sometimes the sample is like a few semitones flat or sharp depending on how it comes through. And then you just find that root note and fine tune the C, the root C being whatever, and then you just fine tune it to like how it's coming through, and then everything from there on will be relative to the sample.
Okay.
Yeah. I learned early that it was beneficial for me to like almost not look at what I was doing and just kind of train the ear. This is just like my own like personal side quest, I guess, but it was like just going off of like what feels right to your ear. Because I was just like, to me that was more simple. I was just like, let me hear that. Oh, okay, that feels right. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes like, especially with like low end instruments and stuff, notes will be like fighting like in terms of like relative pitch with each other. But what I love about that sometimes is like when you have two low register instruments that are like oscillate, it's weird. Like so pitch is like different oscillation. And in the low instruments, you can feel like them oscillating differently. And that shit just like hits. I'm like, yo!
It's because maybe they're like vibrating slower. So you can almost like feel that.
It's so sick.
Yeah.
And when I was like picking up on that, like that was just like so exciting to me. So I'll just like, I'll just like listen for when it sounds right. And then I'll like go to the next note. Oh, that sounds right. They call that like relative pitch. So there's like perfect pitch. and then it's like relative to like what is being played. So like something might be out of key, but you just with the digital, you know, like VSTs and stuff, you can just tune it to that.
You can make it feel. You can make it feel right, even though technically, this is why like music theory is weird because technically by music theory,
that's
it would be wrong.
Theory term.
It would be wrong, right? Certain.
They define that in music theory though.
Oh, they do?
With relative.
So there's like is it similar to like relative major minor, like that sort of thing, or is this relative pitch is something different?
I mean, I'd say it's like I'd say it's relative. No, no, I think it refers to the same thing. So like relative to like a source thing or relative to, you know, a thing. Again, like music theory is just like being able to be like, oh yeah, that's, you know, explaining it. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like how you look at the world around you as a baby and you're born and you're like, whoa, this is crazy. And then you're like, yeah, it's a tree.
It's a tree. Big deal.
Yeah, exactly. Before you just like, whoa, this is crazy. And it's like, yeah, that's a minor third diminished or some shit. I don't know.
Oh man.
It just wakes you up. But at the same time, sometimes you want to keep that childlike wonder about music. That's how I feel about it.
You know what? My random thought just popped in about something that I did at Namm. I don't know if you heard or seen the
fight?
No. But yo, you don't use Flex like that, right?
No, I gotta go into my my drop down and say more plugins and get that.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it. Yo, I ran into this dude that created not Flex, but he created the patch inside of Flex, the chill lo-fi patch.
Oh shit!
Like just that one though.
Yeah. You met him?
I met him and I interviewed him quick. I didn't put it up or anything yet. I think I'm just gonna put it up as like maybe its own thing. But I just he came up to me and was like, "Yo," he's like, "I just want to like thank you for like making a video on chill lo-fi." He's like, "I made that." I was like, "Damn!" I was like, "Really? You made that?"
I'm him.
Yeah. I was like, "Yo, can like I want to talk about it. Let's chat about it." So I interviewed him. I'm gonna put it up. I probably just put it up on YouTube or something like that. But it was really interesting to see and just to hear how the background kind of works as far as how they look at like how to get an outsource for different patches, just like one patch inside of a plugin.
Yeah, and
so
what
it's not
was
like
his
they go to
kind
the
of
same...
like background in developing that kind of thing? Is he like a software?
He's
guy?
a hardware guy.
Hardware guy.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
He's big into hardware. So I think he created all that with hardware.
That's sick.
And I think a mix, he said. But he's a big hardware guy.
Yeah.
So hardware synths, patches.
Like, that's dope.
Finding different ways to get that wobble sound. He was talking about how he used some of the like he created it not knowing where it was even gonna end up. Like he just created this pack basically, not knowing really where it was gonna go. And I guess he kind of like maybe pitched it around to different people. Yeah. And it got into that. And I feel like that's like one of the last ones, like one of the most recent packs that they've put into Flex, to be honest. They need more, bro. Talked about this with Elgene. I feel like they need more packs in Flex right now. But that might be something that they include into the FL Cloud. They got a decent amount. There's a good amount in there. But I feel like it's gonna be something with the FL Cloud where they just keep like adding, like a library situation where it just keeps coming in. Yeah, I think so. Oh, for sure. I think that would be really cool if they did that. It'd be cool if they integrate sort of like pack making into FL. So like you can just like make your shit and then just pitch it as like a thing. Or just save it as a preset pack that you've created. Yeah. Kind of like how you can do in Grossbeat. So maybe you sound design your own stuff and you can save it in there. Oh, imagine, bro. Like you said, imagine if it gets like, and it goes maybe into the back end of the cloud or something. This is just like spitballing. It's probably might be a horrible idea, but imagine people could create their own packs and essentially like have them in the cloud. And if it gets popular, it just blows up. Yeah, right. And people just start downloading it. Yeah. And but I would say this, it's got to be super protected. Like I think if FL does this, it got to be like right with the people that are making it. Like they ain't got to do too much extra stuff with like making sure their metadata's in there. Like they need like their royalties from it. No bullshit. They need their royalties. I'm a big proponent of that. Like, you know, reasonable, but you know, like, or it could be like how you can just create your own patch inside a patcher and then just send it out to the world. Yeah. But imagine if that was almost integrated inside of a plugin
Yeah.
And people could create their own patches inside of Citrus, inside of Flex,
Mm-hmm.
inside of Harmor, inside of any of those things. And it was like integrated into the system of FL somehow.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you could do that anyway. But I'm more so thinking like Flex, because right now I don't think there's a capability that you can create your own stuff inside of there. Because I think it's really just what they load into it, and then they give you like the macros options. So it's not really a sound design plugin.
I'm just saying, if you that guy that makes the next in memoriam bell,
right?
and everybody's using your shit, you
Right.
gotta be like, hey, listen, FL, what's going on right now?
Right,
you know?
bro. I mean, to me, Flex is like the new Omnisphere, bro.
Yeah.
I don't even care about Omnisphere that much anymore. I don't know if they've
People
put
ride for that flex.
Yeah.
In the comments.
To me, that's like the new. That's why I think for me and a lot of other producers to keep that mentality about Flex, about how like underrated and slept on it is, and how it's so useful and versatile. I think they need to keep adding more packs. And I was just trying to think of like cool ways they could keep adding new packs, or you know, involve the community somehow. But I think that would be pretty dope. I think we're about, you know, at that point where we can wrap it.
Yeah.
You know?
You've been watching any cool like producer content lately?
Yeah, bro. I mean, I'm still watching a lot of I think his name's MHC. Bro, every video this dude puts out, we got to have him on.
Yeah.
Even if it's virtual, I feel he's obviously an FL user, but he's an artist, producer,
He's killing it.
engineer.
I love his videos.
Bro,
They're so sick.
Unbelievable.
So sick.
So did you see the new one where he throws the dart at the map?
No, I got
Bro, he's like, all right, yo, I'm gonna throw this dart at this map, and wherever it lands, we're gonna make a song
fire.
like about wherever
Yeah.
it lands. Bro, he did it, and he just like throws it behind him at the map, and the last one, it lands in the water. So he made like a water beat, a water song. So it was based around water. I just want to talk about like that stuff so bad with him. It's so good. Next level content. Every video goes crazy. Every single video, and the songs are good. And he has such a dope model of like creating the song, making content about it, and putting the song out.
Yeah.
And he's killing it.
It's just, yeah, it's got like that flow to it, which is perfect. Like I'm watching it and it's like satisfying content. You know what I'm saying?
So
I'm watching
good.
it and be like, ooh, this is sick. And it makes me want to like make beats.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
That makes you want to make music.
Another dude is fucking Nick Mira's content on YouTube is going hard as fuck.
Right now?
Yeah, it's super.
I've watched a lot of his stuff. I haven't recently, but like I'm a huge fan.
His stuff now has been very like dialed into, like it seems very simple. And he's just like, all right, I'm gonna make a beat in like 10 minutes, and it's just gonna be all based on this note. Boom. And like what I like about his videos is he kind of pushes it as like workarounds for like beat block and stuff like that, which I feel like a lot of people get. And his whole thing is like, even if you don't feel like making beats, it's good to show up and just do it anyways. And here's how I kind of do it. And he's like, all right, there's the note. Everything's gonna be based around that note.
He's so good.
Yeah, and quick. You know what I'm saying? And that's another one that I watch and I'm just like fired up. I'm ready to make beats.
Yeah.
When I watch those,
like
those kinds of
instant
videos.
inspiration with those kinds of videos, bro. I would love to talk to him about his process and his journey so bad. It would be so dope.
Hey, tap in.
It'd be awesome.
Yo,
yeah, I think we
he's
can
the
wrap.
man.
I think we can wrap it. We're about at about that time. So I got thank you for watching, listening. If you didn't get the keyword, go back and find it.
The
And
key
like
phrase.
I said, yeah, the key phrase. So a little hint. So so go back, find it. We're doing an NFL giveaway every single Tuesday, podcast every single Tuesday here on YouTube and all platforms. So yeah, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share this with a friend if you get me.